What is up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 94 of Think Twice, the magic and pop culture show hosted by me, Justin Parnell, and my co-host, Ali Magic and Pop Culture Aintrazi.
Magic and pop culture Aintrazi?
Yes. You know why that's important today, right?
It is, because that's a lot of well, we're doing magic and pop culture today.
Well, yes, as we always
do. Isn't that crazy?
Well, you know, maybe I think the craziness really lies in the fact that we're discussing three pretty incredible events that have happened in our world, which is the release of War of the Spark, a very important episode of Game of Thrones, and Avengers Endgame. So this is the culmination.
This is the most important podcast ever?
I think it could be.
Most important
I don't want to put that out there, but now that you've said it.
Mm-hmm. So over the weekend, we were together.
We were. You came to visit me in Roanoke.
Did the 24-hour stream. Thanks for those who stopped by and said hi and just watched here and there.
Yep.
That was fun. We'll get more into that, but that's something we did over the weekend. Also, what else we do? We watched Endgame, obviously.
We did.
We watched Game of Thrones.
We did. We spent about...
That it?
No, we went to a pre-release, but we'll also talk about that too.
Yep.
And we'll talk about our pre-release experience.
Yep. We had Two-Head Giant.
We did.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. 24-hour stream, went to a pre-release, watched a movie, watched an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no big deal.
I mean, it's a full weekend. It took a while to get back on a regular sleep schedule for both of us. Even more so for you.
I'm still a little laggy, I think, here and there, but
of the 24 hours I was able to... What?
I'll say I haven't gone to the gym once this week. Like I keep saying I want to go, and then I'm having a harder time. I think it's because the 24-hour stream hit my combined with narcolepsy is just making me struggling. I didn't realize how hard it'd be, but I'm definitely feeling the effects now. I'm still
tired. I've been tired all week.
Yeah, same.
It's tough when you're old.
No, it's old and hey, Waffles got it. And narcolepsy. Oh, also Waffles destroyed my lamp. He chewed through my lamp yesterday.
Your lamp? Streaming.
Yeah, my little lamp that I have on my computer to brighten things up so people can see me better while I'm streaming. It went dark sometime during the stream, and it's because Waffles had chewed through the cord. So
that's
I googled how to. Yep. I googled how to solder things. Solder things. So I bought a soldering kit from Amazon, so I can learn how to do that. Because he also chewed. You know that bed I have?
Your big bed?
Yeah, the super expensive bed that I wish I didn't pay so much money for.
Yeah, but you have it now.
Yeah, he chewed the wires there too. So now it doesn't even move or do what's supposed to do. I mean, it's still comfy. Yeah, exactly. So I'm about to throw him out the window.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say I looked up how to discreetly get rid of a puppy, and I was like, this got dark real quick. But then you were like solder. And then I thought you were gonna say how to solder a puppy, and I was like, okay, still got really dark. But then you didn't say that either.
Maggie plus Waffles together. The Wiener Centipede.
There's another joke in there,
seriously. Yeah.
Anyway,
seriously, he's getting this teething thing is getting super annoying. I don't know what else to do. I bought spray too to spray on my wires, but it's getting pretty frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Maggie was never this bad.
No,
he is just terrible.
Yeah, he's a puppy monster.
He is a very much puppy monster.
He's definitely a puppy monster. Let's see. I don't think anything else happened other than we're pretty much together the whole time. So, and that's essentially all the things that we did are the things we're going to cover on this week's podcast. So we did have a question of the week 2 weeks ago, which I forgot to post on Twitter, but I finally got around to it. So we got some good discussion. And that was, you're stuck on Ravnica. You have to hire a planeswalker to entertain a birthday party for 6-year-olds. Who is it that you hire to be the entertainment? Ali said Jaya, who got 51% of the vote, obviously, which is going to win because it's more than 50. I selected Karn, which got 38% of the vote, and then other was 12% of the vote, even though that math doesn't work out, but that's what Twitter told me, so I'm going to go with it. Probably pretty evenly split between Zheng Yu, because he has a pupper, which I think is a reasonable answer, a Johnny, because Johnny is an actual cat, and I feel like there was one more.
People are saying Vivian, too.
I think one person said Vivian, and I was like, that's a terrible choice. Vivian really does not like people.
No, she does not. She likes animals, but it just dislikes people, yeah.
Yeah, you can even listen to her voice lines, and it's like...
Yeah. A couple said Ashiok, which was kind of funny. Some said, I think, Chandra.
I think people said Ashiok in saying, like, Ashiok because I hate children. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
a couple people said Watley, which is, I was like, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I think if I really thought about it, I'd probably go with Saheeli, because Saheeli is just super nice and like lovable, but also can just make like little. It's like instead of making balloon animals, she makes little like mechanical animals. So that would be fun.
Stick on with Jaya. She's old. She's very experienced, and she's grandma, man. She's grandma. Grandma's always the best for kids.
That's true. Mother Ludi.
Yep.
So,
spoiler alert.
Is it?
She's not Mother Ludi. I mean, I don't know.
Well, she is Mother. She is Mother Ludi.
Well, she's not anymore.
Well, she is still.
Well, if you always
she never was.
Exactly. Time travel.
Spoiler alert. Now you're saying spoilers.
I'm not. Unless because that has no reference. Because of Mrs. Ludi. Anyways, let's
move on. So we want to thank everyone who's listening on any of our platforms, and of course we want to remind you that you can definitely leave us a review on any of those that you're listening: SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play Music, Spotify, Podbean. Any of those, leave us a like on the track, a review for the podcast, and of course share that if you can. It always helps out quite a bit. And if you want to support us further, you can go to patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. We have a lot of great rewards tiers. We should be hopefully having a quicker turnaround on the May rewards. Not May, April. That's the last month. I'm going to be working with our new community manager, William Johnson, on that. And we'll be able to get those out to you. If you are at the appropriate levels for the Commander Journal and the Brew Book, I would recommend you checking those frequently, because they have been getting updated a lot, and they will continue to get updated a lot. So those are definitely good ones for you to check in to. We do have a new patron. We want to welcome John T to the Think Twice family. So John, welcome. Hopefully you've already joined the Discord. It's a lot of fun, as you have known, obviously, if you're in there. And of course, our topic for next week, so you can join in that conversation. We're going to start to discuss Ravnica, War of the Spark novel by Greg Weisman. It's over 3 acts, so we're going to break that up into 3 segments over 3 podcasts. Act 1 is next week, which I think is the first 27 chapters. That sounds right. And then we're also going to be, of course, discussing Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. So if you want to join in those conversations, watch that, read that, listen to this, and then you'll be good to go. Oh, all right, Ali. Topic number 1. The only Magic topic for the day, which feels a little weird, but here we are. So you and I completed a 24-hour stream last week.
We did.
In addition to going to a pre-release, so we have a lot of War of the Spark feedback, even more so than last week from the early access event. So we're going to take a short break, and when we return, Ollie is going to announce his next 24 to 48 hour stream. No, just kidding. Just kidding. It's not. But we'll be back in just a second. $24 is a long time.
It is a full day.
Is
It is a full revolving thing. My bobber, the world turns,
Is it longer?
but not fully.
This is going to sound like a weird question, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. Was the 24-hour string longer or shorter than you were expecting?
Honestly, I think it's pretty average. I think it got more damaged by it after it was done than when it was getting done. Like, to be fair, I had help from you towards like the last like 4 hours or so.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which is, I mean, it's
there was
completely understandable.
Yeah, but when I came back, and I think I noticed I was playing the game, and I was just clicking, and I was like, I'd be like zoning out.
Yeah.
Or just not paying attention to the chat. When we're usually like I'm talking in chat, talking to everybody, interacting, I was just like zoned out. And people made comments a lot about, you're tired, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, obviously I'm tired.
Of course I'm tired. I've been going for 20 hours right now.
Yeah.
In front of this computer screen.
Yeah, so what happened was we got to 6 wins with the Planeswalker.
The commence, not commencing game, Command the Dreadhorde.
Yeah, we got to 6 wins, and Justin was like, all right, we'll finish this, we'll finish this run, and then we'll go leave. And I was like, Parnell, after this game, I'm done. 24-hour stream is over. So we get 6 wins. We have
I didn't say that during the last game. I said that at the beginning of the run.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless, I changed and I was like, no, I'm done. This is the last one right here.
Well, to be fair, I said that when I thought that we would finish prior to, but it was also like we literally.
Honestly, it's not irrelevant. I'm just saying I changed it. I was that tired. Basically, I'm trying to say I was that tired. Like, all I had to do is play one more, and we could have got 7 wins. And usually, I'm stoked to do that. Usually, I'm playing boss music and like making people spam sabers and stuff because the last boss or last fight, I was just like, nope, I'm going to sleep. That's it for me. That's basically that's what I was trying to get to. But speaking of the Planeswalker deck, since we're already here, I did end up having to play one more game because I had recorded a video for Cool Stuff. Did go 7-0, and then I recorded the Planeswalker deck again for Cool Stuff, which is up now. You can watch it, on YouTube or Cool Stuff. We won 7-1. That deck has gotten a lot of 7 wins. It's been doing really good, really well rather.
Well, there's a lot going on, and someone was asking like, "Hey, is this a good deck to start with?" And it's like, well, an outrageous amount of wild cards then maybe, but
yeah, and things like it's weird, but I find myself slightly favored against mono red, where I think it'd be like not favored at all, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's because
it's probably your can-do attitude.
Maybe I don't know, but it does well. Like maybe it's the walkers having to be attacked. Maybe it's crazy. It's crazy though. Like if I ever get a Johnny, I feel like I can't lose because he counters a bolt every turn. And then they're forced to attack him, and then if he lives through that and you plus one more time, the game is just done.
Yeah.
Deck was sweet. I played it again on stream. Got 7 wins again. So it's I think at this point I've got 7 wins with it like 7 times over 24-hour stream plus 3 more times afterwards. So it's really fun. I think a really good deck. I think your worst matchup was Esper, but even that then you have 4 Teferis, the small ones, and you have 3 Narsets.
Yep.
Which hinders control. Definitely a sweet deck.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Yeah.
It's a very fun deck, and it's pretty dynamic because you have a handful of 1-ofs and some 2-ofs. So it's like a puzzle you're trying to put together because the play patterns of the deck aren't always similar because of that, but you are trying to like assemble this Voltron machine.
Yes. Originally, Justin had actually suggested Sahili, which I did try. And it's weird because Sahili's a great card, but she was not that good here. She didn't like progress.
Yeah.
She's
not progressing your plan. She's just preventing
buying time.
She just buys time, but it's also unnecessary sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to dig through your deck or mill yourself and just get everything going. By the way, I sent you a link to the
deck. Yep.
Yeah. Also, a card that's also been pretty surprising has been Dovin. Dovin, Hand of Control.
Is it just because he's talking a bunch of junk to your opponent, or is
That's great. Yes, that is one reason.
Okay, it's a fair reason.
Another reason, he just buys so much time. Against a Gideon, he's just amazing against Gideon. He's amazing against just like there was, what was it? Oh, Gutter Snipe. It's good against Gutter Snipe too.
Oh Lord, yeah, doesn't do anything. There's no text on it.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the passive makes all sorceries, artifacts, and instants cost one more, which I can't really see, but
yep, it's one of those hidden modes that we've talked about, specifically on like Narset, Teferi, in some cases the Wanderer, where you don't know what the passive ability is preventing your opponent from doing.
Yeah. And after playing this weekend with Planeswalkers, I know my top 3 Planeswalkers from the set. I'm not sure which one's number 1 yet. I'm leaning towards Tameo, but that could be because I'm biased.
I think you're biased. I do think Tameo is very good.
I think the top 3 is definitely Tameo, Narset, and Teferi Time Raveler.
Yeah,
it's definitely those 3. Maybe it's probably Teferi Time Raveler. Honestly, there's 4 in the deck.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I have the deck list up.
Yeah, and it costs 3. That's why. But yeah.
Well, sure. It still counts. That's part of what makes it great is that it does cost 3.
And Tameo's been great because like imagine Eternal Witness. It's one more mana for Eternal Witness for sure. It lives and then has other modes, and also she protects you from discard and sacrifice effects. Add multiple people try to arrest me or thought erasure me during the run.
Like nah, dog.
And the best one was when I tapped out for Tameo, they tapped out for Eldritch Reborn, and I thought Tameo was dead actually. Like I even forgot. Then Tameo blinks red because I can't sack stuff. And then on their turn it triggers again, make me discard a card, but Tameo triggers again because I can't discard cards. And then on the 3rd chapter, just doesn't do anything. Just like this is the best Eldritch Reborn I've ever seen. My best, the worst.
Like it's the best, meaning it has no text on it.
Yeah, it's just doing nothing. Yeah, it's pretty great.
So, I am going to be playing at SCG Richmond this weekend, which is a standard open, and I'm going to be playing a deck that I played at the early access event as well as on your stream when you tapped out for a moment.
The Claw?
No, not the Claw.
Okay.
No, when chat wanted me to play an aggressive deck.
Okay.
Which I obliged, and that deck was Mardu Aristocrats. And I've been playing this deck over the last, really since Ollie has left, so over the last few days, and I've made some changes which I think are better, and it's kind of the turn that it's taken me to adjust to the metagame, which I mean, this isn't going to be a surprise to anyone on this podcast that's listening or Ali, but I think the best deck is probably just Simic Nexus in the metagame.
Best deck?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just think it's the best deck.
I do too. After
I think Tameo adds a.
I have a video come. Actually, it'll be up at the time this comes out, so it's fine.
Okay.
I did also play the deck. And I played some of the new cards I played or have been testing was Commence the Endgame, Tameo, Blast Zone,
Yeah.
and a new one that I thought was kind of gimmicky, but ended up being insane was Planar Celebration, one of them in the main deck.
Okay.
And it's just been the deck's just absurd. Like it's so good. It's so freaking good. Like your worst matchup, mono blue tempo is short up a lot by the
Blast Zone.
Blast Zone.
Yeah.
The celebration, just gaining like 16 life if you need to against mono red is a lot of life. You know, usually in the past I had to resolve like a Palaka Worm, then maybe another Palaka Worm, and then I'm good. With this, I should resolve this once, and I can just buy it back with. The thing is, with Palaka Worm, you can't buy it back because mono red never kills it.
Yeah.
With this I can buy back with Tameo, or I can just like.
Well, how can you buy it back if it's not dead?
Exactly, Palaka Worm that never dies against mono red. But Planar Celebration does.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can just gain like 16 life, right?
Yeah, you gain like 16 life, or you gain like, you know, there's one time where it was almost like a soft lock where I would like, -3, get it, proliferate, and then gain 8 life.
Yeah.
So the next turn I could buy it back
Do
again.
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also and yeah, the deck's actually really really good. The worst matchup. People think like Teferi is really good against you. It is good. It is good against you, but you also have a lot of blink of an eyes. Maggie, stop. Sorry, she's wrestling with waffles.
Her
blink of
favorite
an eye.
activity.
Yes. Civic Nexus has a much better time finding the answers for your whatever hate card you have than you are finding that hate card for Nexus.
Yeah. Yep.
That makes sense.
Oh, I mean, totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I have, you know, because of the Civic Nexus deck, I have had to dramatically change the main deck of the deck that I'm playing, which is the Mario Aristocrats deck.
What'd you have to do?
Well, I did something I thought I would never do.
At Tameo?
No, I did that. I've done that. I called it 5-color Omni Tameo.
You want to tell them a story about that?
Weren't you familiar? I'll tell them a story after that. But I did something I thought I would never do. It's in all seriousness. Okay. And that was cut my favorite card from the deck.
Liliana?
No, Liliana was not ever in the deck. There's 22 lands in this deck. Hero of Precinct 1. And
to make it lower to the ground?
Not make it lower to the ground. But I cut Hero Precinct 1 and I replaced it with Tithe Taker. Because Tithe Taker lets you be more proactive. Oftentimes I wanted to leave Hero in my hand because I valued it and its ability to make tokens. Tithe Taker puts a lot more pressure on the control decks just because they have to operate during their turn, which means that their counterspells are less meaningful, and it specifically against the Civic Nexus decks, it makes their math for kind of how they operate their turn with like root snares and Chemist's Insights. It throws that off.
It does. It makes them main phase the insights.
Yep.
And leave 3 minutes for root snares. And there's a lot of times people forget, because I see it in chat all the time. People are like, hey, why don't you just pass with 2 men open, or why don't you gift when you have 4 lands open and then cast root snare? I'm like,
it's like I won't be able to cast
Tithe Taker's a card.
Yep. Yeah. So I made that change, and I've also put in Fireblade Artist, because when you have when there's oftentimes with the Nexus deck, they can continually buy back root snares.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, I don't currently have a way to like sacrifice my creatures, but I add in Fireblade Artist, so I can put out Cruel Celebrants and Judas, and then Fireblade Artist and go to my turn and sacrifice something and deal them like 4 or 5 damage. Which
are you still playing Priest? Or no, I'm not playing Priest.
Priest of the Forgotten Gods? No, I'm not playing that.
Okay.
I don't think that card is very good. I think I've seen a lot of people play it. I think it's better if you're playing Mayhem Devil, which I'm not.
Yep.
But I think it's just too slow. I'd rather have Fireblade Artist. It kind of does the same thing.
You know, card I think was too slow in that deck. I think Dreadhorde Invasion was just not good in that deck, which is weird to say.
I never had it in that deck.
I've seen. I know.
You've seen other people have it.
I've seen other people have it.
Oh, it's for sure too slow.
And it's like, you know, it's a recurable sack outlet, but it's like that's not what you're doing.
It's the same reason I took out the hero.
Yeah, it is what you're doing. You are sacking, but like, it almost goes against your game plan because Dreadhorde Invasion is going for the long game.
Yeah, it's a grindy card.
You think you're a grindy deck, but you're really not. You want to get them low to, like, you know, in the single digits on turn 4 or 5, and then finish them off slowly by pinging them.
Yeah,
in some way or fashion.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about this deck is, so the deck is not inherently grindy, but you, against other aggressive decks, you get to turn into a grindy deck.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the reason I really like this deck, is because you are an aggressive deck and you really want to push that aggression as much as possible for decks that essentially, if their curve is higher than you, then you want to push that aggression. And you can just very easily turn into a board control deck against other aggressive decks, and they're just like the only deck that I have lost to, the other like aggressive deck that I've lost to is mono blue, but that was before I changed to Tithe Taker, and Tithe Taker is
so good.
Very annoying for them.
Yes.
It's very, very annoying for them because they operate off so little mana. So even if they're on the play and they go turn 1, you know, Siren Storm Terramander, turn 2, put a Curious Obsession on it because they always have that. And they leave up 1 mana, and they're going to leave up 1 mana to Spell Pierce you or dive down. It's like, all right, well, now I'm going to play Tithe Taker. Well, now what do you do?
Yeah.
Like they can't just continue to
leave up 2
mana.
Yeah. Because you will just overwhelm them.
Yeah, exactly. So that card is really good.
Retort being 2 mana is huge. And then it being 3 is like most unplayable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you ever play a second one, then they just like they can't
cast it.
They can't really cast their spells. Yeah.
On your turn, anyways. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And if they're casting their spells on my turn, then I can just use my removal spells. They can't stop it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been very good with this deck. But you know, this is I think this format is going to be changed pretty dramatically by War of the Spark, which is what we had already said. And you know, you're obviously making decks that people want to see you play because they kind of expect you to make all these crazy Planeswalker decks. But you know, I think you have also, as you usually do, found some things that can be more competitive than maybe people expect them to be.
Yeah, I think people have forgotten that I'm the one that actually made Simic Nexus.
People have for sure forgotten that.
Yeah, they forget that it was not a deck until actually top 8 a classic with it. Before then, I was even playing it, and honestly, the core of the deck has not changed that much since then. Like, it's changed about. It's changed some cards, but it's like okay, we cut Filled Mystic for Sabotage. Okay, still same slot. It's counterspell.
Yeah. We've
cut Hydra Crisis for Tameo or Commence Endgame. Okay, it's still the same slot. Card advantage, digging. So all in all, it's essentially the same list. And yeah, but Tameo pushed that deck to the limits. Oh my god, because not only does it bind Nexus, like you impulse every turn for Nexus or whatever you need or Reclamation.
Yeah.
And you also thin your deck out because she mills them. She mills your cards, and she lets you get away with less win conditions because you can just play 1 Commence the End Game. You can play 1 Mobilize District because it doesn't matter because you have 3 or 4 Tameos to regrow the card that you lose. Game 1 anyways. Game 1 win condition is fine because no one's gonna exile your graveyard really. So
no, I don't think anyone is.
Yeah,
I've had to change.
I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've had to change to Bedevil instead of Angrass Rampage, even though Angrass Rampage is cheaper, but Angrass Rampage cannot ever kill Tameo.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Nope.
Yeah, Tameo's so good.
Yep.
That passive is so great. I love it.
It's really great because you have to on turn 4. If you're like, if you happen to if you like draw duress on that turn, you have to bedevil and then duress because duress doesn't do anything otherwise.
Yep. Yep. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
So what else are you looking at for standard?
We also my second favorite deck to play is definitely the chromatic green deck, or as chat wants to call it, is Green Lantern.
I feel like you've embraced that somewhat though.
It's fine. Yeah, at this point, I have.
Have you embraced it, or is it more like you can't fight forever?
Well, it's more so like, you know what? They can have this. It's okay. There's like, it comes to a point where I feel like, you know what? They're supporting me so much. They're watching me. They're helping me out. It's okay. If they want to change this name, it's okay. Especially since we're not even playing Lantern in the deck anymore. Originally, the deck had 4 chromatic lanterns, and it's not anymore. So I can't really even argue that much. But that deck has been super explosive. It's basically like Chromatic Black. If you know what that deck does, it's basically a Chromatic Lantern deck that abuses Cabal Stronghold. Well, this one is a mono green deck that abuses Nissa's passive ability, and then it splashes 4 Breeding Pool and 4 Temple Garden. So if I splashes blue and white for the blue finale and the white finale respectively. Then you have like 4 Llanowar Elves, 4 Incubation Druids, 4 New Horizons, which ramps you, fixes your mana, and if you have like the nut draw, where you play like Druid turn 2, New Horizons turn 3, put a counter on the Druid, tap the Druid to play like Gift of Paradise, untap, play Nissa, win the game. Then also you also have Karn, because there's a lot of times after you play Nissa, there's a lot of times you can just play Karn, minus right away, grab a statue, play statue, and pass a turn, and your opponent usually can't win from there.
I mean, statue is a really ridiculous card.
Untapping with Nissa, sometimes you even need to untap. But untapping with Nissa in that deck is almost always game over. You have Finale, the blue finale, the white finale, and 4 Crisis. It's just pretty disgusting. Deck's super fun to play though. I think all my decks are though. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I also hear the same thing.
Well, you are biased. I mean, they're your decks, but yeah. I mean that doesn't mean. I mean that's how. But that's oftentimes like that's how you stumble upon like decks that are actually metagame relevant, though, right?
Yes.
You're memeing. And you're like, this is good. Let's shift the deck's focus to be around this, and then you like kind of chip away at it over time, and then you're like, oh, this is actually a deck that attacks the metagame in an angle that is unprepared to do so. Which, again, to remind everyone, is the exact thing that happened with Simic Nexus before that deck went on to win a Grand Prix and is
Top 8
Pro Tour, and is now positioned to be arguably the best deck in Standard. So,
yep. And
if you're listening to Think Twice for the first time, this is the type of stuff you can expect if you continue to listen.
I think the Planeswalker deck's also in that field.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like I beat all the. I feel like I beat all the mid-range decks. The aggro decks aren't. The aggro decks are fine. I haven't played against mono blue a lot, but like mono white, mono red, I don't mind playing against. The hardest matchup has been again control, but sometimes that's even easy if you're able to resolve a Teferi, the small one or whatever. So it's like I think that deck has a lot of legs. Like being good against everything except one deck, I think automatically makes it a viable option. Like if I was going to Richmond, I would definitely be playing this. Well, I'd be playing Sig Nexus or this deck.
Yeah. What would you play? Like, actually, if you had to make a decision, what would you play?
Probably Sig Nexus.
Yeah.
But again, resolving Tamiya plus Narset against Nexus is going to be hard for them to win if you have both of those out. They can't draw multiple cards. They can't cast spells on your turn. Yeah.
I mean, I can't argue.
That's the deck. Right. That's the deck I think has the most potential to become like break the meme and become like actual metagame deck.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah. Well, one last thing, like even with control, like they can grind you out usually by countering your spells here and there. Maybe they counter your Teferis or eventually kill them. But if you ever like, they never pressure your life total. So if you ever resolve a command the Dread Horde, you bring it back all these walkers and all the counter spells, all their discard doesn't even matter anymore.
It's all irrelevant. Yeah.
Yes.
It actually turns off their entire deck because the only thing they could potentially do is cast the Elder Spell. That's the only thing that can solve that board. And if they don't have that, then they lose.
Yeah, and no one's playing that. I've seen that in zero lists.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That's a break in case of emergency thing. I think.
Absolutely. Like if this deck gets big, I think people will adopt Elder Spell, like as one of or two of.
Yeah.
But even so, like that card is only good for one matchup. How many can you realistically play?
Well,
like
and not
one?
only how many can you
maybe two?
play, but how many decks can you play it in? Because it's so narrow.
Yeah.
That if you're playing in a deck that does not draw cards, does not have Search for Azcanta, or a way to, you know, if you're not playing Narset or something where you can look at more cards, then how can you even play this card at all? Like, doesn't your way to solve that problem have to just be a different route? Just because it's like, what are you going to have two of these in your deck and you're just praying to draw it? It seems like it seems like a not a recipe for success against a deck, even if you have a trump card, unless you're playing four. But then again, you're using four sideboard slots against a card that has no text against the rest of the field.
Yeah, and also like the Elder Spell isn't going to see play unless this deck like takes off, and by that time, whoever's played it or whoever's taken off with it,
they've already won with it because people didn't have the Elder Spell when they were winning with it. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't have won. So
yeah. I still don't think they can realistically play the Elder Spell. Even if the deck does well, I don't think you can play more than one, maybe two. But that's like, I think you just play something else.
I mean, I don't think you can play one. What does that do?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I agree with you. Like I don't disagree, but it's a weird spot, which is why I think that this deck is an interesting portion of the metagame.
Yeah, it's much easier for me too for the Planeswalker deck to adopt Dovin's Veto in the sideboard than you to adopt or a deck to adopt the Elder Spell, because Dovin's Veto has game against multiple decks as well.
Well, and like, the thing is, when you're casting Command the Dread Horde and if you get everything back, that's going to include Tamiyo, and it's going to include Teferi. So
yeah,
they're going to their turn. They're going to cast the Elder Spell, and you're like, all right, counter it. Now what?
You can't do anything. Yeah. I forgot. Sometimes I forget how absurd Teferi is too. There's times where I just plus him, and everyone's chat's like against mono white or something, or tokens. Like, oh no, watch out for Unbreakable Formation in response to your Nova. Cast it now. I'm like,
don't need to.
Yeah, they can't cast Formation.
Yeah.
In response to my Nova.
Yeah, it's a messed up card.
It's super messed up.
It's a messed up card.
God. Yeah. I had one person during the stream, like a cast Nova, during their attack step. They tanked for a second. And they conceded. I imagine they were trying to cast Unbreakable Formation, or their board just died. Either way, I'm not sure, but regardless, it was.
Well, I mean, their board did die because they couldn't respond to do anything.
Yes. Yep. Other cards that have surprised me on power level is D-Spark. D-Spark has been excellent removal spell. I think it's great also for a Walker sideboard to deal with the Immortal Sun while also not being narrow.
Yep.
And then another card that was really good in Nexus I've been playing around with is Narset's Reversal.
Okay.
If you've seen like, it's surprisingly like how good it is, because if you were playing Jeskai or whatever and you've expansioned Insight because your opponent cast it, you should draw 2 cards. Reversal is like absurdly better. like reversing a Mastermind's Execution or Chemistry Insight or any spell that costs 3 or more
Yeah.
buys you so much time. Plus, it's just a massive tempo swing. In the mirror match, I find Narcissus Reversal for Nexus to be insane. Like, if your opponent casts Nexus of Fate, you can punish them so much by countering the Nexus and then taking an extra turn
You
yourself.
literally steal their turn.
You win the game if you resolve that on Nexus of Fate.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross. Also,
Well, it's like Remand, except instead of drawing a card, you cast a spell.
Yeah. You can also bounce back Thought Erasures. You can bounce back Unmoored Ego and then name Unmoored Ego. It's a pretty absurd card in those matchups.
Oh, that's really gross.
Yes. Yep. Someone casts Unmoored Ego. You bounce the Ego with the reversal. Then name Unmoored Ego, target them, like with the copy, and it's like,
yeah, it's real gross.
Yikes. Yeah. Actually, I think I don't even think I named Ego though. I think I just named Teferi, and then let them.
Yeah. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah,
I didn't have this card in my deck, but now you also don't have Teferi in your deck.
Yeah, I let them Ego my Nexus at the next turn, but it didn't matter because it was games 2 and 3. I had like oozes and other things to win, so they had no Teferi, so it was much easier to win.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't need infinite turns.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't kill me with the turns you have. I don't need to take yours.
Yeah. I'm taking your best card instead. I'm not sure how you win now, but
yeah, I think that's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
Last thoughts for me. Limited is very slow. It's very cube-like, which is a lot of fun, but it's very slow. Obviously, a bunch of planeswalkers will do that, but can confirm that the limited format is slow. I do think that there is some room for aggressive decks, but it's probably centered around like black-red or blue-red. And I gotta draft some more to 100% figure that out. But so far, it seems slow. But I also like Amass more than I thought that I would.
I like that. I like that it's slow.
It's really slow.
Reminds me of like Cube because so many walkers.
Yeah.
Our
like
two-headed giant. We played two-headed giant. Justin and I went undefeated. Justin had this like removal deck. It was like what, black, white removal?
I played black, white, creatures. It was basically like black, white, had removal and a bunch of just like value creatures, essentially. I had like I had Dreadhorde Invasion and Sorin. And it was literally I just kind of nickeled and dimed our opponents, and then Ollie's deck
just went over the top. Had Nissa, had Karn, Ugin Nexus, had Karn to tutor up Parhelion in the second. One game, I was able to. I guess we were able to animate a land with V2 Ghazi Awakening, and then have 2 Evolution Sages out, Ultimate Nissa, and make V2 Ghazi a 27/27 creature.
Yeah.
That was against Stephen Green. That's pretty great.
It was. He deserved it.
And we won.
We won. Not only did we win, we never had any opponent over 4 rounds deal us any damage.
Yeah, no one dealt us any damage.
The only damage we ever took was from Dreadhorde Invasion in 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think we did 2 out of 4 games as well, just above
in 40 or 50. Yeah. One of the games we were at like 57.
I can't remember how we're getting life, but yeah.
Sorin.
Yep.
I had Sorin in my deck.
Good way to gain life.
Gave all my creatures life link, so yeah.
Good way to gain life.
Yep. Yeah, it's sweet set though. I'm interested to play more limited. All right.
I agree.
Ollie, anything else before we move on?
No, that's it.
Okay. Time to throw up a spoiler warning, because we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night. The long night it was. So we will be back in just a moment.
I was going to say the long night, almost as long as Maggie.
I was going to ask you, was the night longer or is Maggie longer?
Maggie is the night, and she's the long.
But how
she is the long?
But how close was it?
I don't know, man. Sometimes I might get outside in the dark to go pee, I can't see her anymore. And and then like I'll look for her, and all of a sudden her tail, is hitting my leg because she's so long.
Yep.
Her head's over there, her tail's over here.
She's long girl.
Long girl.
So again,
long dark girl.
if you skip to this segment, we're in full spoilers. Full spoilers for Game of Thrones. All of Game of Thrones, but specifically Season 8, Episode 3. This is the Battle of Winterfell that we have been waiting, it's seemingly forever to reach.
Since Episode 1, where we see the people claim they saw the White
Walkers.
Yep.
So, what do you think? How are you feeling now that the battle has ended?
I liked it. I liked this a lot, actually. I did really enjoy it. The darkness did put me off a bit. Not a bit, a lot. Like, I was watching it with you, but if I'd been alone, I definitely would have turned the brightness up just so I could see what's going on. I know that goes against what they were trying to do.
It would not have helped.
I think it would have helped.
Okay.
Regardless, maybe not. Maybe it does.
It wouldn't have, but we'll let you continue.
Okay. Outside that, I really liked everything. It just made me a little upset. At Dany because she acts like a child a lot, and impulsive, not in the good way. Like I'm impulsive, and I'm very like
in the good way though.
Yes, exactly. And she's like impulsive in the wrong way, in the bad way, like in the selfish way, and not thinking of others. Where I'm impulsive, but I also think of others as well. So
she did a lot.
Pissed me off.
Daenerys, as usual, did a lot to mess up the plan.
So selfish, so freaking selfish.
So essentially one of the first things that happen is the Dothraki screamers charge and are immediately slaughtered. So of course, there's this grand plan, this huge military plan that's been people have been putting their heads together to figure out how they're going to beat this undead army. So Daenerys sees that and then of course is like, you know what? Let's just ignore this plan. I'm mad.
Yes. Yeah. You ignore the plan against the freaking Night King. Like, what? I understand they're your army, sweetheart, but like, if you go and be an idiot, you're gonna lose your other army too. You have the Unsullied as well. Like, what are you doing?
Being an idiot is what she was being.
No, honestly, she's being selfish. She's being super selfish and impulsive, and that is not something a king or a queen or a leader should be.
No, that's because that's how you get people killed, and that's what happened.
Exactly.
She did get a lot of people killed by making that decision, by deciding on her own that her vendetta, that she has, her very recent vendetta that was created in the last 30 seconds, it takes priority over the plan that is going to save the most human beings. And she just doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
Or is not thinking of it. Either one, just as bad.
Yep. I did like learning why, I think it was his name Beric.
Yep.
Why Beric lived, or why he was revived 10 times. And it was literally just to keep Arya alive.
Yep.
Also, I found it interesting that, did you notice that the dagger that Bran gave Arya?
Oh yeah, that was the little Valyrian steel dagger. That was the one that did the Night King end of the end.
Yeah.
In the exact same spot that Bran gave it to Arya.
Yes. And I want to say too, the difference between when Night King attacked Bran and then with the Three-Eyed Raven way back when, and they were like panicking, lost Hodor, lost everything, compared to now, it's like they switched spots.
Yeah.
Bran knew everything was going to happen to the freaking detail. Everything. Like, he even knew Theon was going to die. And before he died, he's like, hey, thanks, Theon.
You're a good man. Dies.
Yeah. I mean, he's just saying that. I don't think he thinks that. I think he's saying it because he knows as if Theon wasn't here, and he just
I disagree. I don't think Bran is at this point capable of creative thought that is playing on emotion of others. I don't think that's in him
Oh,
anymore.
you think he was sincere?
I think that's all he can be.
But I don't think he was. I don't think he has emotions to like care about that.
I don't think he was saying it emotionally. I think he was trying to say it factually because that's all that Bran has now.
Well, regardless, it was crazy. Basically, it was crazy how much different the Bran Night King encounter was from the first time to this time. It was just completely different characters. It felt like the Night King was just not idiotic, but he got outplayed when he was continuously outplaying.
I guess so. I mean, he did ultimately, obviously, but I mean, do you feel that? Are you satisfied for this entire story arc that's been building since the very beginning? That this is,
I think there's gonna be more.
How it ends for the Night King? You think there's gonna be more?
Well, Bran was working for a long time.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason for that. I think there's a reason that we don't know about yet.
Freaking hope so.
Because he was in Raven, he saw the Night King. The Night King like reached out to him with his hand. That's all we saw, and then he continued to work for the rest of the freaking episode until like the very end. And there's no way he just was doing that for no reason. Like, I think we're gonna learn something about that. I don't know what, but
I hope so. I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
honestly,
Otherwise, it makes no sense.
Yeah, we need a curveball now, which it's weird to ask for that. And this is kind of something that I want to touch on for this episode in particular. You know, we were talking last week, we're like, who's dead, who's alive? And we were like, we basically split them into half and half, and we're like, all these people are dead.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the characters that died is limited to this list. Beric, Ed, Jorah Mormont, Lyanna Mormont, Melisandre, Theon, and then the Night King. And that's it. Despite characters being in extremely precarious situations for virtually the entirety of the 82 minutes that the episode was going on.
We also lost the dragon, Parnell. We lost the dragon.
We don't know that.
Pretty sure we did.
I think we did too, but we don't know that for sure.
Okay.
That's one of those things that's like, I don't believe something is, only one, the only character that has died without the viewer seeing it in the entire show?
Yeah, the Hound. Right?
The Hound is definitely alive, I'm pretty sure.
I know, but I'm saying like he supposedly died off camera.
He didn't die.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's not the answer because he didn't die.
Are you saying who died off camera that actually died off camera?
Yeah.
But was it one of the dogs?
Stannis Baratheon.
Oh yeah.
Because technically, when he is killed, it's from his viewpoint. And Brienne is killing him, but we don't actually see him as a third party. As a viewer, we don't see him die. He's the only character that has happened to that he actually died, as far as we know. Every other character, we have seen their deaths. Like 100%. So if we didn't see the dragon die, then I don't believe that it's dead.
That's fair. I'm kind of disappointed a little bit. Night King dying is kind of like, I understand it's a good thing, but I don't view Cersei as bad ass as the Night King. So it's like, okay, I know she's gonna do some crazy stuff or whatever, but like, I feel like one of the biggest suspense things for me is gone now. And
yeah,
like you said, we need a curveball. We
do, because the thing that frustrated me the most, and ultimately I liked this episode. I think
I too.
If I'm really taking a step back and focusing less on the story, this is the most visually impressive episode of television in history. Both in size of it's essentially a feature film, scale of the story that they're telling, and of scope, because you have just an outrageous number of costumed extras that are really the primary focus of the episode. And I didn't have a problem with the lighting. I understand that other people did. It's just, to me, that's a cinematography choice, and that is what it looked like for the characters. Because it's in the middle of the night, it's pitch black, they can't see, we're having trouble seeing. I think that helped really give a feel to the episode, even if it was frustrating. But I'm sure if you're in that battle and you can't see anything, and you have this undead army that is, slaughtering you, that's, I think I said it kind of just, that was the point, and that's how they wanted it to be portrayed. So I didn't have a problem with that. Even outside of that, in the moments when you didn't have a difficulty seeing because of the darkness, it's pretty amazing. Like when you got those overhead shots of all of the armies and the battle, and then like you're up in, the spires of Winterfell, and you're looking down over the outside, and you see dragons raising the land with the fire, and when Melisandre lights up the essentially like the moat of dragon glass with fire, and you see that surround Winterfell, and there's just so many shots that are just so incredibly detailed, just for like moments. And they put so much detail into just for these moments because everything needed to be perfect visually, and it pretty much was. And it's really impressive to do. This is a television show. This isn't a movie.
Yeah.
And like, obviously this has the budget of movies, and more so than a lot of movies, but that's not the point. This is still on TV, which is crazy to me. And that I appreciated. Obviously, I think the music was also great, but that's a whole different topic. Is the cinematic elements, which I thought were just spectacular.
Yeah. I have some questions though.
All
Is
right.
Bran ever going to talk or explain anything? And more importantly, why the frick was the Night King immune to fire?
The thing, I don't think we're ever going to know.
I need answers. Was he a Targaryen before that got turned into the Night King?
So it's so weird with a lot of these writing choices. I felt like a lot of it, I'm okay with part of this, but not all of it. I don't mind that the Night King was immune to fire. But I do mind not getting an answer to that.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. I don't mind. I don't care what you do, but explain.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know why he's immune to fire. I want to know what Bran is doing. I want to know, are both dragons okay? Is Ghost okay? I want to know. I want to know what turns you on.
You know what turns me on? Villains that don't. You know what the Night King did in this episode? What he did was essentially the same thing that a supervillain does when he captures the hero and he has them right where he wants them, and then he explains his grand plan.
Yep.
That's what the Night King did this episode. He didn't talk. He doesn't do anything with words, but the fact that he's not moving to finish off Bran or whatever he's going to do with him with any source of purpose or meaning or urgency. He's just taking his time, staring him down. He wants Bran to be scared, I guess. Not that has ever mattered before. He has really just been this merciless killer.
He seemed curious a little bit at first. Bran looks at him and he slows down. Then Bran puts his head down, he's defeated. And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill you."
But why are you doing it so slowly? I understand that ultimately it was to set up for the Arya surprise, which, for what it's worth,
it was an awesome surprise.
I have no issue with Arya killing the Night King. Not only do I not have an issue, I actually think I think she's a great choice personally, because it's never going to be Jon. It's not possible for it to be Jon or Daenerys. Daenerys has no chance. She got her chance. She tried to light him up with fire. That didn't work. That is her only trick. She has no other tricks.
She is so weak off dragons. We saw that with her and Jorah.
Useless.
Oh my god, she was nothing.
Yeah, she's useless.
Her dragons.
She has her dragons. it was never going to be Jon, because Jon wants to fight the Night King in single combat, and he would have been murdered easily.
Yeah.
He would have been slaughtered within minutes.
I'm just curious now why the Night King spared Jon, but here he was like, all right, raise the dead, kill Jon. It's so weird because like,
but see, he didn't try to kill Jon. He's never tried to kill Jon. He's had so many opportunities to do it. He's just he did that to prevent Jon from advancing on him, because he just doesn't want him. Like,
yeah, but Jon's gonna die.
Well, yeah, but he didn't care if he lived or died. That was irrelevant to him.
Then why did he just kill himself? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Because because he didn't want to waste any time. He wanted to get to Bran. This was his shortest way to do that.
But even before, like, I feel like he had a chance to kill Jon and it didn't kill him.
He's had plenty of chances. He has a chance to kill Daenerys. He's had a chance. The Night King's had a chance to kill every single person, and has ultimately failed.
And the Night King
at that
Night King
entirely.
does not seem. He's not seen someone that's like stupid. So I don't know. You know what? Call it right now. We have not seen the last of the winter.
I hope so.
All right. We have not. There's no way.
And we did talk about, even last week specifically, we were like,
you know why? Real quick, before I forget. The last book of, it's supposed to be called Dreams of Summer,
Spring,
whatever. This is dreams, man. We're still winter. Something's going down. And just remind me. You know what? While I'm on a roll,
keep rolling.
There's a lot of people that think, oh, Melisandre told Arya that she's going to kill somebody with brown eyes. Walder Frey kill somebody with blue eyes. The Night King kill someone with green eyes. Cersei, nah, fam, she's not killing Cersei.
Nah, she's not.
I think so, because there's a prophecy that was told to Cersei that her brother would kill her. Her brother would kill her, and she always thought it was Tyrion. But I believe it's gonna be, we know now it's gonna be Jaime.
Yeah.
So who does Arya kill that's green eyes? Maybe she kills Dany.
That'd be great.
Because that one has not been fulfilled yet. She's killed brown, blue, has not killed green yet. I'm not sure who has green eyes besides Cersei and Dany.
Does Daenerys have green eyes?
You know what? Double check.
Anyway,
I'll look while you do your thing.
Yeah, I'll keep going. But ultimately, and it did come into play where specifically we're like, well, the Night King's not going to engage because he is the one that has raised all of the whites specifically. Even though all of the White Walkers can do it, he's done it because if one of his generals, if one of the other White Walkers dies, then that's going to take a part of his army away. So if he's the only one doing it and he doesn't ever get, mess around in combat to have a chance to die, then that's not going to happen. I don't mind that Arya killed him, but I am frustrated that it was seemingly so simple. And what are we left with? We're left with a significant amount of characters that didn't die, which again, I don't have a problem with, but I don't want this to be written off as like, oh, you thought a bunch of characters were dying and they didn't die, so that's the old classic Game of Thrones curveball because something happened you didn't expect. But I don't know if that's the case, because you've shown all these characters for this entire episode, and basically like they're essentially fighting off death for an hour. And then they just get lucky that Arya's in the right place at the right time. I don't know. I don't know. It was frustrating because I didn't feel like that part of it was fulfilling in the way that something like the Red Wedding was, where something completely unexpected happened that was the opposite of the expectations you had for the episode before it started. And your expectations were all these people are going to die. Well, they didn't. But it feels, I don't know, it felt a little cheaper for me, even though I don't have a problem with how it happened. Like, I don't have a problem with Arya killing the Night King at all. And I don't have a problem with how she did it. But I guess like on his character, I'm frustrated that he he was like nothing. Like he was poofed and gone.
Yeah, hopefully there's more. Maybe. Okay, so I want to say real quick the prophecy that was foretold to Cersei. This is going back to the Green Eyes things. She basically asked Maggie, the frog, the prophecy teller, whoever, whatever. She asks her, will I marry a prince? And Maggie says, no, never. You will wed the king. And then she goes on to marry Robert Baratheon. We learn what happens there. Then she also asks Maggie, what happens if she'll be queen when she's the queen. She says, "Queen you shall be for a time. Then comes another, younger, more beautiful, to cast you down and take all you hold dear." That was obviously Marjorie. Marjorie took her stuff. And the third question was, she asked, would she have any children? And Maggie responded, no. Well, any with the king. She says, no, the king will have 20, and you will have 3. Gold will be their crowns, and gold their shrouds. And then finally, Maggie, the last thing Maggie says is, and when your tears have drowned you, the Valenquar shall warp his hands about your pale white throat and choke the life from you. And that Valenquar means, in High Valyrian, means little brother. And Cersei naturally assumed that it was Tyrion, but Cersei was born first between the 2 twins. So, and all of the other prophecies come true. So I don't think Arya will kill Cersei. I think it's gonna be Jaime.
Yeah,
and
this is what I've been saying for years now.
Yeah. But now with this recall, I think is almost solidifies that. And so green eyes. Cersei has green eyes. Jaime has green eyes, and Dany has bluish green eyes. So Arya, I assume has to kill one of those 3. I'm not sure why she would kill Jaime, but maybe she learned that he pushed Bran out the window or something and kills him. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen because who's gonna tell her?
Okay, yes, sure, but I think that prophecy has to be fill out from what Melisandre said. And I don't think it's going to be Cersei. So it only leaves Jaime and Dany, and it's kind of crazy. I don't see a world where she kills Dany or Jaime. Really, Jaime seems more likely than Dany does to me, but unless Dany turns on Sansa, or maybe Sansa asks her to kill Dany.
I think that would imply that they have to be on the same side if they're turning on each other.
Sure.
Which I do not believe that they are.
Do you think maybe Sansa asks Arya to kill Dany for her?
Maybe.
Crazy.
Maybe. Could be.
Yeah.
I've maintained that I love Arya, and she's one of my favorite characters. One of my 3 favorite characters. I love her arc, but I think it has now virtually been completed. And it is too picturesque for her to literally go through and do everything that she believes she has been set out to do. And the last thing that's on her list to do is kill Cersei, personally.
Yeah.
There's no way. This is Game of Thrones. There's no way that happens.
There's no way you kill the Night King and then also kill Cersei.
There's a 0% chance.
Yeah, stop. You are dreaming. There's no way Arya is going to be a hero and she's going to win, kill Cersei, and was like, yeah, Arya, you're the best. No, something bad is going to happen.
I think Cersei's going to kill her personally.
I'm not sure if Cersei will do it. I think Arya might die, though. But there's no way she gets any more glory than she already has. She's done. Like you said, her arc
is essentially finished.
Yeah, it's like Melisandre,
Yeah.
After she walked out, took the crown that was holding, not her crown, but the
necklace
that was making her young. Yeah, took it off and turned old and died.
Yep. And Davos was there's morning time. You're dead yet?
Oh yeah, and she walks out and dies.
Yeah.
She does die.
She kind of waves him off, I'm going. Chill out, old man. Melisandre, by the way, ultimately the second most critical person to this entire battle.
To the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately after Arya, because you can't kill the Night King and not be the MVP. But
The most important.
yeah,
of course.
but I mean, otherwise, like, they're dead. They're just, everyone is done without Melisandre. She bought them an outrageous amount of time.
Yeah, with the fire. Not the original fire. The fire on the castle.
No, that probably hurt because then it made people scared. Like,
Yeah,
we're good now.
It gave them hope.
we got these flaming scythe things.
Yeah,
and then they're
gave
just
them hope first, and then it turned the opposite.
Yeah.
Yep. And she was honestly like the spell.
She was not 100% sure it was going to work.
Yeah, because of the ice spell, whatever the Night King cast had made like the fire or the logs not immune to fire, but
real cold.
Much colder.
Made them real cold.
Yeah.
Made everything real cold.
Yeah, and she was like chanting over and over again. And for a while there, you could see the doubt in her eyes, and that's awesome that's awesome that she's able to do that. It basically shows that she was a great actress.
She was,
but
she is.
Yeah. So, but you see the doubt. You see the doubt in her eyes, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know. But then she ultimately does and buys them, like you said, a lot of time. I thought Grey Worm was for sure done like 3 times over.
There's so many characters. I mean, like, I thought, characters that we saw in the thick of battle that somehow, some way are alive. Sam, Tormund, Brienne, Jaime.
Yeah.
Like the Hound.
Oh yeah, the little girl died. Yeah. That was her name, yeah.
Grey Worm. Like, all of those people were literally fighting for their lives. And somehow, some way, none of them died. Which is... I don't know. Like, it's not like I'm rooting for people to die, but it's just like I wanted to make sense.
I expected more. Yeah, even the spider didn't die.
Varys?
He seemed
like no one notably died in the crypt.
No one in the crypt died. Who died? Yeah, exactly.
No one notable. No one notable.
However, I want to say you were right. You said they were hiding in the crypt, and that's where dead are. And he raised the dead, and there you go.
They start popping out. Yeah.
Yep. You nailed that one.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that was like, as soon as they said it the first time, I was like, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Like the crypt, you mean where everyone's dead? Where all the dead people are?
Yeah. So now is the brand the Night King 3 out the window now? Is it gone?
Still want to know what he was all warging about.
That was weird, yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
I want, like, you can't just introduce time and then take it away. Like, I feel like maybe they're like, oops, we shouldn't have done that. Let's not touch it again. Because now, like, they are.
You're 100% right. You are 100% right. You can't do that.
I can't believe Bran did not use any of his magic besides the wargame. Like, he didn't use anything else, like the tree magic or
nothing
else. Like, are you really? Are you just like scared of abusing him now because of time magic? Like, I don't know.
You're already in though. Like we've already done it. Like we're not putting that toothpaste back in the tube. It's out.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah. Yeah, like at this point now, if you ignore it, why'd you even have it to begin with? Like, I think it needs to play another role somewhere, either to revive the Night King somehow or something.
There's no way that we've completed the humans versus zombies side, like that arc that we've been talking about since the beginning, where the characters have been saying this is the most important thing that could happen. That's just completely done, and now we have 3 episodes left where it's going to be the Cersei versus the Starks, like right where we started. Like, which I get, like I kind of rounds it off, but boring. Like there has to be something more.
I agree, because honestly, that's boring to me compared to what we had.
It's just not. I don't want to say that because look,
compared to what we had, compared to the Night King and all the White Walkers and the huge battle and dragons fighting dragons, and yeah, it is definitely disappointing. Like, sure, this is something I want to see, but you basically took the best battle, killed it, or the best villain. Like, the Night King's better villain than Cersei is. You can't deny that.
Well, I mean, I think Cersei's a better villain. I think the Night King is a better adversary.
Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying. I'm saying like
yeah, I do know what you're saying. I don't fully agree with you. Is what I'm saying.
Sure. Well, for me, I enjoy seeing the Night King on the screen more than Cersei. I enjoy seeing his story more than Cersei. I enjoy battling him more than Cersei. And all that gone, and Cersei left. I am hoping there's more.
Yeah,
and hopefully
I don't
I'm
think
correct,
that
so.
it makes sense that like at the end, like Cersei's the final boss.
You what?
I don't think it makes sense that Cersei's the final boss.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But I mean, like, look, we're not done. Like, there's 4 more hours of this show, which is a astronomical amount to tell a story. So, like, I'm willing to see where it goes. Also, Cersei was right. Everything that she had thought about what was going to happen so far, she was like, she's been 100% right. Their armies are completely depleted. Whoever is left has a 0% chance to go to King's Landing and take it.
It has to be all of them. It has to be like.
That's not enough.
She lost a lot.
All of what?
She lost a lot.
All of who? How many people they got? Like 200 people left?
She lost all her Dothraki. She lost potentially the dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the Unsullied, like all the other, like, I mean, there's not a lot left. I mean, we're talking like right. Caravan. She's got no one else. They got everyone for this battle. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is going to be the difference.
I'm trying to think what else there is. Army-wise, we lost a lot, though.
There's none.
Yeah.
There's literally none. And it's the Greyjoys who've made, and Yara has made it clear, it's like, nah, the rest of our people, other than the 40 people that went with Theon, the rest we're going to be the Iron Islands, because we're not engaging. Maybe they will after now the Night King's dead, but who knows? Either way, that's not enough. Point being, this is going to prove the difference. The show and the novels. Because what is the novel series name?
There's 2. Second part was Dreams of Spring.
The series, is
Song of Fire and Ice.
A Song of Fire and Ice, right?
Or Ice and Fire, yeah.
A Song of Ice and Fire, okay. That's what we just had. That was this episode. Was the ice versus the fire.
Yep.
But the show is called Game of Thrones. The game is played by people, not supernatural zombie super magicians. The throne is the most important thing. It always has been. Everything else has kind of been a distraction.
Sure. I hope that's like. I mean, that's not what I've.
Look, that's. I'm just saying that is the title of the show, Game of Thrones.
Sure it is, but that's not why I've fall in love with the show and series, not because of the throne or that game. It's because everything else. That's part of it, I guess. But like after you introduce the element of magic plus undead army plus time travel, you're gonna tell me you're gonna take all the way back to
people arguing and trying to backstab each other.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, there's obviously going to be that. Like that's going to be notable in the last 3 episodes. But I kind of get it because this, for the most part, this story has been about individual people. And by removing the Night King and the White Walkers and the Whites, you are opening the stage up for the people to kind of end this series like they started it. But I don't entirely disagree with you. You've introduced all of these elements. You can't just strip that away and pretend like they don't exist. So Cersei can, trick people into doing whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way you have 3 more episodes. Like you can't put that much action in one episode with the Night King in that battle, and then have the next 3 episodes just deal with Cersei. There's no way, right? I hope not.
We'll find out. Not. Next week, Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. 2 left after that, so 3 total left. Ollie, any parting thoughts before we move on to the final segment?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. In that case, we are going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to talk about the other incredibly important thing going on in the pop cultural world this week, Avengers Endgame. All right, we are in the no spoiler zone for now. We'll get to spoilers in a bit, but we're going to spend a few minutes talking about Avengers Endgame from a non-spoiler perspective if you are one of the 3 people that has not seen this movie yet. This is for you.
You start.
All right, so one of the most notable things everyone knows about Avengers Endgame is that this is a lengthy film. It clocks in at a little over 3 hours and is the culmination of the last 11 years worth of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting essentially with Iron Man in 2008. Incredible Hulk came before that, but that, I assume that movie sucks, but I've never seen it, to be honest. It's the only MCU movie that I've just not seen. Anyway, I think it's still canon, but Iron Man to Endgame. And for me, I am the exact target market for this film. I have seen all of the movies. Even before they existed, my entire life, from when I was a little kid until now, I have been a huge Marvel fan. I love Marvel Comics. I love so many of their characters. And seeing all of these movies on in a feature film has been like my childhood dream come true. So the ambition of putting this together and telling this story that I think ultimately is done pretty well, while not perfect, is really great. And the mileage you get out of this movie is going to be directly tied to how much you care about everything that came before it. If you care and you've seen them all, you're going to love it. There's pretty much no way you won't. If you have seen a couple of them and you're like, I have a favorite character, and you watch superhero movies because it's kind of the popular thing, but you're not fully in, then you're probably going to be like, yeah, this movie was fine, but you're not going to get everything out of it that someone like me is getting out of it. And Ollie, I don't know exactly where you fall on that scale.
I think I'm not where you are for sure. I'm definitely like a few steps behind you. It's still like I obviously love fantasy stuff. I love sci-fi stuff. So this is definitely great, and I enjoy watching all of them and watching Endgame. But after watching Endgame, I didn't feel like complete. Basically, I give this movie a total of, if I'd rate it, a 4 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
I know you're definitely 5 out of 5. But
I think so, but it's this movie had an outrageous amount of hype, and when we went to see this movie in the theaters, I've never experienced going to a theater and watching a movie as a cultural event. I live in Roanoke, Virginia. I was here visiting, and the theater I went
packed.
to, every single, I think only 3 theaters were not showing Endgame, and pretty much they were all sold out by the time it got to showtime for the entire weekend.
Yeah, that never happens.
I don't think it'll happen again. Like, I can't foresee this type of culmination for something where so many people from so many different walks of life are all like, we have to see this movie now, right now.
Yeah.
And it is this cultural event, and it's just so crazy to me that it's like superheroes. Like, this is like, man, I read comic books when I was growing up. Like, this is the most popular thing in the whole world right now. This movie is going to break every record, like every box office record that's ever existed. It's going to break all of them easily. And that's saying something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like being, and I'm not saying this is the best movie I've ever seen, but being financially the best, and creating this must-see event that you feel like you have to be a part of is really incredible. And I don't feel like I missed out. I feel like I was a part of that because not just because I was being told to, not because people went and saw it and like, I can't believe you're not seeing this. It's like, no, this is something I genuinely love. And I've loved a lot of these movies. And this isn't the best one. It's probably not, I mean, it's somewhere in the top 5 of Marvel movies and maybe comic book movies, maybe not. But like, I don't know how to rate this. Like, it's a 5 for me, but this is just personally. Like, I can see, look, this film is not flawless, okay? I can see if you're not all the way in,
I think it was, I thought it was great. I thought, again, for a 3-hour movie, it was good. Like you said, like the time did not seem like it dragged on. It went by pretty quickly. I never was like, oh man, I can't wait for it to be over. But there were some things that I didn't particularly enjoy or didn't fully cater to me. But overall, I would recommend the movie to watch for somebody else to watch. And it's a good movie, but it's not like it's just not a 5. And the thing is, I had to let that settle for a minute because just because this movie will break all the box records, will have a bunch of money, everyone has seen it, blah 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 blah, doesn't mean that it is the best movie ever, right? It's
not.
That's not what it means.
It's not even the best movie in the MCU.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what people will automatically assume, or what I kind of assumed after watching it. Then after the hype dies down a little bit and you process everything, and then like you reevaluate it, I think it's definitely a 4 for me, and 4 and 5, and I'll get to reasons.
Yeah, and honestly,
later,
like
I
can't, like I'm not arguing with that. Like there are, it's okay. It's 3 hours. It's a brisk 3 hours. This is definitely the best 3-hour movie I've ever seen, for sure. It's definitely the most fun and most engaging. But
I mean, what's before that? Like Titanic.
I mean, there's a few, but it's like there's not many, and it's tough to make something 3 hours good that you're not like, I just want this to be over.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't fault you. Like, if someone's like, it's really weird because I think this is a must-see movie, but it's not the best movie you're ever going to see. If someone goes in and sees this and they're like, you told me this was great, and I think this is like, I'm rating this like a 2, it's like, well, why? Like, why did you go see it? You're going to know before you see this movie if you're going to enjoy it or not. That's not going to surprise you. The movie is not going to be significantly better or significantly worse than you're expecting for any individual person. Like, the type of movies you like. If you don't like superhero movies, you're not going to like this. Okay, this is the superhero-iest movie that exists. So
I agree.
I think 4 is fine. And for people that love the MCU, this is going to be a 5, and that's fine too. There's a lot of callbacks, the most of like any movie that I can think of to other films. It's crazy. It's a crazy amount of callbacks. I probably didn't even catch them all. I want to watch this movie again so I don't have to pay attention to the plot. So just so I can try to find all the callbacks, because that's something that I really enjoy. And there's a lot of them, like a lot, so many of them.
Basically Easter eggs.
Yes, a lot of Easter eggs, but it's like a lot of them aren't even. They're not just there, so it's like if you see them, you're like, okay, that's cool. But a lot of them are like enhance the movie because they're plot related callbacks, which is really great. But if you don't catch them all, you're not lost for the most part. But it's just a bonus. So 5 for me, 4 for Ali. I fully endorse Ollie's vote of a 4. I gave Infinity War a 4 for what it's worth last year. I stand by that.
Okay.
I think this movie is about, people are probably going to enjoy it about the same as Infinity War. It had a lot of moments for me that just made me really, really love it. So, but I think it's time for us to get into spoilers so we can both talk about the things we liked and didn't like.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So beep boop beep. Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. Beep boop.
Spoiler
Spoiler
warning.
warning. Okay. So
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
okay, who's gonna start that? Sure.
Let's get it out of the way.
I hated time. Sure, I hated the time travel aspect of it. I did not like that. I don't like introducing time travel because it just. I feel like it's a cop out to anything and everything, and I just don't like it because you can literally. It's the same thing as Superman. Superman can just beat anything if there's a sun or whatever, and time travel literally solves every problem ever. And I don't like introducing that aspect to anything. And even though they did it, like, I think we were watching it, and someone said, I think they did time travel pretty well. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think time travel was done well. Just because they explained it differently doesn't mean it was done well. Uh, Saying, like, oh, yeah, they have these certain chemical thing that can make them go back in time, but after they run out, they are forever. And then they actually break that rule by grabbing four more from a different timeline.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you can probably make more too if Tony Stark can figure out how to time travel in one day, less than a day. I'm sure he can figure out how to make this serum, whatever it is. So, and then, or you just go grab it from a different timeline. It was not done well. I disagree with. I don't think the time travel was done well. I don't like it. That was the biggest thing. Outside that, everything else was pretty good, or very good. Also did not like Thanos dying in the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds, however long.
Yeah. To be fair, that's directly related with the time travel thing. Like those two things are closely, like, are pretty much completely linked. So if one doesn't, like, if the reason that they were able to do that is because they're introducing time travel later in the movie. I'm not defending it because I'll say my piece about it in a second, but yeah.
Even the fight, like, there was no fight. I understand he's weakened. I understand he has the stones. Then how are you going to show me Thanos later without the stones as well and fighting up all the Avengers? And you tell me, like, he's this weak now? Like, I get he was, held by Captain Marvel, then he was beheaded by Thor, and they were angry, raw, whatever. But put up a fight. Like, is that hard?
He didn't care.
You're a 3-hour movie though.
He didn't care.
I don't care. Make it a little longer.
He didn't care. He made that clear. He's like, my job is done. It doesn't matter if I die.
I don't know.
And he literally said that in the movie. I'm not
Sure.
Look, I'm not defending that. I'm just saying they're like.
I'm just saying I wish there was more to it than how quickly it ended, because then the build-up was fine, but it just involved time travel, which was super annoying and obnoxious.
Look, I agree. I don't like when time travel gets involved. I think it's never not a crutch. It's always a crutch 100% of the time.
Yes.
For this universe, I'm fine with how they explained it. It doesn't make me hate time travel less, but they made an attempt, which is, I guess, all you can do, because that's all anyone can ever do when you're talking about time travel. Time travel is a weird thing, like in real life, because it's something that we're obsessed with as a culture. And it's also the least understandable and intangible and logical thing. So everything can make sense if you're able to talk about it enough. Like, you can, like, someone about time travel, you could talk yourself into anything. So time travel for this movie is your past, your future is set. Anytime you move through time, you're going into a different timeline. So it's not your past, it's someone else's present. Your past and your future are all set. That is not going to change. So you're essentially going into a different timeline. So now in the MCU, there's different timelines. There's the capability for different timelines.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like
now
multiple timelines.
Well, all right.
Multiple timelines.
Yeah. I mean, like, why don't you go grab Tony Stark from the other timeline, or Scarlet Witch, or whoever? I mean, you could do that. Like, that's in play now.
Yeah, or if you need something to solve or a problem to solve, oh, Tony Stark's dead. Well, in this timeline, he's dead.
Yeah.
But in another timeline.
Let's go talk to Tony. Why don't we go back to 2011 before the Battle of New York and just pick his brain about some stuff. We'll pretend that we're the current day version of ourselves and we're the future version, but he's not going to know. So it's all right. Well, like I don't think they're going to do that, but that's not the point. You've now opened that up as a possibility. It's not a possibility you're going to do because obviously the filmmakers have control over this, but you're saying this is possible in this universe now. And it's like, okay, sure, fine.
Yeah, it's possible.
And it doesn't matter, a lot like Game of Thrones, like you've now used it. Toothpaste out of the tube. It's not going back in the tube.
Yeah,
ever.
that is not something you can take back, right? It's like if you use it, you've used it. So
that being said, all of that, because that was certainly, I think, for both of us, like our biggest issue with the movie. The movie is an insane amount of fun, just from start to finish. Even when they're doing the time travel part, like let's say the movie is also beautifully set up into 3 acts. The first act is essentially shortly after, 3 weeks after the events of Infinity War. And then they kill Thanos, and then 5 years after, and how all of these characters are dealing with this terrible thing that's happened. All these people have gone missing. Also, we talk about the fact that they open the movie with a heartbreaking scene of Clint's family just getting dusted from the snap.
Yeah,
that's like the cold open to the movie.
Yeah. I also didn't like how his arc went too, where he just like became like this assassin. That was.
I loved it.
I didn't like that. No.
Oh, I thought it was great.
I didn't like it, but regardless.
Anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, they open with this like heartbreaking scene, and then this whole first act of this movie is like how all of these characters have changed, and they've all changed pretty dramatically. Tony Stark completely removes himself from the public eye. He becomes essentially a family man with his daughter and his wife Pepper Potts, and cuts off communication from everyone. No longer is running a company necessarily, and is just at a cabin and just hanging out. That's what he's become. Steve Rogers has become depressed and is trying to help others kind of treat their depression as he's dealing with his own. Black Widow has become someone that, from what it seemed like, does not leave her house pretty much ever. So she's kind of become a shut-in.
She's lost her family, essentially.
Yeah. And then, ironically, the person who's come to the most peace with who they are and everything else is Bruce Banner, who has merged with the Hulk and is now like Smart Hulk. So,
or Iron Man.
What?
Tony's also a piece, I think, too. Well, I guess
he's clearly not
with Bruce Banner. Yeah. His future is, he's going to change it, basically, essentially.
Yeah, Bruce he has come to terms with everything that's happened. Tony says that he is,
which is crazy. Yeah. It's actually a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's like embracing being like a superhero. Like he's like an internet celebrity also now.
Yeah.
And then of course you have Hawkeye who basically has turned extremely dark and is essentially a kind of like Dexter, if you ever watched that show, where he's killing bad people, but he's killing them, like murdering them, like hunting them down and murdering them. People that he feels like should have died during the snap, but did not. And is really completely unhinged as far as what he's willing to do. So you have those characters. Part 2 is the time travel part. And as much as, again, I hate time travel, but I will say, like, when they first do the jump and they get the plan together, and then the first scene is New York 2012 and it goes back to the Battle of New York, it's just like, oh man, seeing this again, is super awesome. And that whole time when they were doing that plan in the Battle of New York, interweaving new footage with footage from the 2012 Avengers movie is great. It's so fantastic, and it's so fun to watch that it's like it makes me forget that I hate time travel. That is the purpose that this is all happening. That time travel has made this possible. I'm just enjoying it. Like I'm just sitting here and just like enjoying all this happening.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Well, it does make, still, but yeah.
Like I'm able to push that out of my mind. Just like I'm not gonna let that ruin this movie for me.
I agree. I love the fight scenes. I love like the 1v1s where the Scarlet Witch basically gets a 1v1 versus
Thanos.
Thanos
was gonna kill him.
Then we get Captain America versus Thanos, and he gets.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you go. Again.
Never react during movies. Like generally, I'm just watching.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there.
When Captain America grabbed Mjolnir, he was like, oh. I heard him gasp, like not that loud. It was like, it wasn't that loud. But I look over, he's like, his mouth is open. He's just like, he's like smiling. Like he never reacts like that. Yeah. And he was like a kid.
Ecstatic.
Yeah. You were ecstatic. Yeah.
If this movie got a 4 from me, everything else, Captain America wielding that goddamn hammer is a full point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That is.
I mean, it was sweet. He went ham with it too. Like he went ham with it.
That scene, and just how they did it, because it's like, please let this be happening. Please let this be happening. They teased it all the way back in Age of Ultron, and then finally turning, and then when the shot goes to Captain America, and you see the hammer come back in his hand, and he's just ready to just wreck Thanos, and they have that fight scene. Oh my gosh. Like
it was great. It was great.
It was fantastic. That's the best comic book movie moment in any comic book movie in history. Period. For me.
For you, yeah. I love Doctor Strange, and he did not get enough airtime for me, for my enjoyment. Like I wish he would have got like I know you can't give everybody a solo scene.
Yeah.
But you gave Captain Marvel a solo scene. You gave I don't know. I feel like Doctor Strange should have fought more. Like he stopped water, and then that's it.
It's tough because Doctor Strange, like, his role was in Infinity War. He got a lot of screen time in Infinity War.
No, but like you showed Spider-Man do some cool stuff. You showed Captain America do cool stuff. You showed Scarlet Witch. You showed Captain Marvel. Like he just did nothing. Like if they were all 10s, he was like a 1, maybe a 2, not even 2, just a 1. He didn't do anything. He literally stopped water.
Spider-Man didn't really do a lot.
No, but him actually in the armor was super sweet.
Yeah, that was super sweet. You're right.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like death mode, whatever it's called, kill mode, whatever it was called. Yeah, that was super sweet. Like you saw, you saw him
the Iron Spider come out of his suit. Yeah.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah, and then I just felt like he was left out. Like even
he was doing something really. He was making sure that water didn't crush everybody, kill him.
I'm just saying, it seemed like that everybody else got some screen time, good screen time. He just got nothing. Like even the Hulk had some funny moments at least, where he was like, "Get back in time." He's like impersonating the Hulk. He's like, "Roar, smash."
Yeah, he's like, "This feels gratuitous."
Yeah. So it was.
This movie was funny too, which I really, at least for the first 2 acts, were funny.
Like Iron Man even went ham with against Thanos too. He basically killed Thanos. He killed everybody. Take the gems. Like again, and the Hulk actually got to snap his fingers too. Like I feel like all of them got like the sweet
got their moment.
Yeah, even Ant-Man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone that had their own movie got their moment except Doctor Strange.
I mean, Black Panther didn't really.
I mean, he kind of fought a little bit at least.
He got the same amount of screen time as Doctor Strange did.
Yeah, but he punched the ground and blew up his energy.
He punched the ground, Ali. He did.
Listen, Doctor Strange stopped water, and this guy is the one that
I can punch the ground, Ali.
That's cooler. Regardless, man. It's just like it's the guy that figures out that, hey, by the way, this is the only way we can win.
Maybe the only way that they could win is if he stops that water, and that's all he does.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, man.
I'm just saying, I wish he got a little more screen time because he's a cool character. I like him a lot.
But there's so many cool characters. So many. They've worked so hard to make all of these characters cool. That's the thing. Like, and they do a pretty good job.
He's my favorite, and I didn't get my fulfillment from that.
Well, he'll get another movie for you to be his favorite. You can just go watch that movie.
But now he's lost the time gem.
He'll be fine.
What's he gonna do?
He'll figure it out. He'll go back and get the other one.
He can't. Speaking of which, Loki did get the space gem in the alternate timeline.
Yes.
So one of the timelines is messed up. It's gonna go dark, I guess.
Super messed up, and Loki's gonna wreak havoc most likely.
Do something. Like, I'm sure we'll have to go back and fix that timeline because the timeline without the gem.
Yeah.
The stone. Yeah, like that. What's her name said? I can't remember her name. The other Sorcerer Supreme.
Yep.
Not Doctor Strange. The female. Showed us what happened if a gem does not come back to its timeline. So.
Yep. And that's what's gonna happen in that one for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. They're like, yeah, I would have liked for characters to get more screen time, but I mean, this was a story really about the original 6 Avengers, and those are the characters that got the most to do, and I don't have a problem with that. Like, I loved Captain America in this movie, the whole thing. He was just like, you know, he was been so beaten down and depressed for those 5 years, and then when they figure out this plan, he's just like, he's so all in. He curses twice in this movie, 2 times.
Yeah. Also, America's ass.
That was one of them. Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, he's like, it's so great. He also, oh my God, I just love Captain America. But he also got to say the Hail Hydra line in the elevator.
The elevator.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's such a big difference from previous Captain America, where he's like, I'm just going to be ready when I need to fight. He's like, I'm not going to go after anyone, but I'm going to be ready when I need to fight. And this movie, he's like, I'm going to do every single thing I can to avoid fighting if possible. Other than Thanos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But his past self.
Yeah, but prior to that, and exactly, and his past self is just like insta fight.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's exactly, and he's like, I could do this all the way. He's like, yeah, I know. Let's just get this over with. It's like, I just don't want to fight. I don't want to fight anyone. I just want to be done with this. And yeah, the Captain America v Captain America scene was great. That whole portion was great.
I just don't know what happened with Captain America too when he time traveled and came back old as frick.
Well, he went back to the 1940s when he was frozen in ice, and then lived his life. I get that part.
But isn't that how they explain time? The past can't change the future.
It doesn't change it. It doesn't change it. It's a different timeline.
Whatever. Stupid.
Oh,
anyways,
sure, you brought it up.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't understand it. I even care to understand it because it's time. So,
I mean, it's just a different timeline. Let's see, what else did I love? I loved at the end when old Steve Rogers was there on the bench, and for comic book readers, they know that both Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson at different times were Captain America. So they're both standing there, and you're like, this is when the torch is going to get passed, but you don't know who it's going to be. And they're kind of just looking at each other, and then Bucky's like, Sam, go ahead. And that's like him saying, like, you can be Captain America. But I didn't know who it was going to be. I legitimately did not know. You know, Sam, which is fine. I'm cool with either, because they're probably going to be, they're going to do it. I'm sure they're going to be teamed up for the foreseeable future. So I'm down with that. Let's see. Trying to think of what else I loved. Fat Thor was great.
Yep.
I thought Nebula was great. I thought her little arc was great, where she essentially had to kill her past self, which is obviously very metaphorical and physical in that case. Thor ending up with the Guardians at the end. essentially setting up their third movie where Thor gets to be a part of that, and they probably go searching for new old Gamora.
Well, she's dead, right?
Well, the
new one. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because she came into she went into their universe. Now, it could be that Tony Stark ended up killing Gamora with the snap. I mean, obviously not, but
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, just because she was kind of Team Thanos for a little bit, but ultimately not really. So maybe it's whatever was in their heart, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he did it. Like,
I think you just
kind of wish the gems were used. I mean, like, I wish this is a side note, but I wish when the gauntlet was used, there was more just snapping. Like, literally every single time it was used 3 times. It was snap, snap, snap. Like, I wish we got to see each gem. Like, we saw one time Thanos pop out a gem from the gauntlet, put in his hand and blast
and punch Captain Marvel. Yeah, with the power gem.
Yeah, and then put it back. Like, I wish we saw more of that. Like each gem doing a certain thing in combat. Like, that'd been sweet to see and basically learn more about the gems.
So
all we saw was. It's like, okay. Well, I mean, I get it.
No one can hold, like, it's very rare that people can hold the gems.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, like, maybe like even Thanos just using the gems, like Thanos himself using like the gems in different ways.
Yeah, like, I mean, that was a lot of Infinity War was him doing that.
Kind of.
I mean, he used all of them in Infinity War.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
You're saying like in the midst of battle.
Yes. Not like to walk away from a fight or go do something else or to teleport. Like in battle, use them. Teleport in battle, then use a gem to manipulate space or something. Yeah, basically in battle. Yes, battle.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That could be fun.
Sweet, it'd be sweet.
Yeah, they're just so powerful that it's tricky to do it fairly.
Oh, I'm sure, but they can do it. Like, if anyone can do it, they can do it.
Yeah. Hey, look, they've completely figured out time travel, and no one has any questions about it, so they can definitely do that.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of other favorite moments that I loved. I really loved the Vormir scene with Natasha and Clint, and thought that was great. I did not. I mean, I guess I did. I was like, I would be really surprised if Hawkeye takes the dive here, just because like he's already lost so much, and it only makes sense for him to see his best friend die too in place of him.
Yeah, I thought there's gonna be some sort of loophole. Maybe like because they're both trying to sack themselves, that somehow they'd maybe both live and something would happen. But nope, the soul gem wants a soul.
One soul.
It wants a soul for the
please.
Soul. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the soul gem wants. Little mess.
It doesn't even say that though. It says it wants what you desire most, or whatever, or what you love the most. But
yeah,
apparently it's always a soul. It's not like it's never a phone or a dog. It's always a person.
Well, it's probably if you're. I don't think you can get it if that's the case.
If what's the case?
If it's not a soul you're trading.
Oh. What? It doesn't say it wants a soul specifically. It says it wants what you desire most, or what you want, or it wants like what you love the most.
You must sacrifice what you love the most.
Yeah. So what if it's like my computer?
Then you can't get it.
Is that true?
I don't know. Ask Red Skull.
I don't think it is. But yeah.
He's the gatekeeper of the soul gem. It was messed up that Natasha did not get any sort of funeral really, and Tony Stark gets this whole deal. For what's worth, I don't think that if Clint had died, it would have been handled the same way, but that was just a little frustrating. Like, not even anything. Like, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I get that Tony Stark snapped his fingers and killed Thanos, but if Natasha did not sacrifice herself, then we wouldn't get to that point. And it's just done.
If Doctor Strange didn't give Thanos the soul, the time gem, then
they're also done.
Wouldn't be here at all. We're all dead.
Yeah, a lot had to line up.
6 million billion timelines, only one leads to success.
Yep.
Is this the one Doctor Strange? I can't tell you if I did or change it.
And it's the one where Thor plays Fortnite. That's the timeline.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That is what we're looking for. Thor gaining weight playing Fortnite with the other two hilarious characters. Or the rock guy, whatever his name is. Love him.
Krog, something like that.
Yeah, he's just hilarious. He's just a hilarious character.
Yeah.
I would love like if there was a movie just on him, I would watch it.
I mean, we'll probably see them more in the Guardians movie, I would have to imagine. I'd be surprised if we didn't. In some form or fashion. Yeah. Avengers Endgame. It's I don't know. It was really great. Hopefully I can watch it again soon. If it's in the theater, I'm gonna wait like a month. Just because I don't if I can watch a movie with as little people as possible, that's how I prefer. So
yeah.
All right. Ali, anything else?
No, that's it. It's a lot.
It was a lot. Long episode today.
Yeah.
We want to remind everyone, War of the Spark novel Act 1 next week, as well as Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 4. So get caught up on those so you can tune in and join in on the conversation. But that's the end of the show. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, question of the week.
Question of the
week. Oh, you watched both Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 3, The Long Night, and Avengers Endgame. Did you not?
Living the dream. Living the dream.
You're living the dream. Living the meme and living the dream. That's what you always say. Your famous phrase.
It's true. Don't let your memes be dreams.
Let your dreams be memes.
Exactly.
Right?
And vice versa.
So this begs the question, in arguably the most important weekend in pop culture history, and certainly the most important weekend in pop culture history for the Think Twice podcast, which was better? The Long Night or Avengers Endgame?
I'm going to go with The Long Night. They're both great. Loved them both. But The Long Night, I think, I don't know why, but I had watched them both so close together that I could tell which one I liked more.
Yeah.
Usually, if too much time passes, I forget because that's just who I am. But definitely enjoyed The Long Night more. I was more on the edge of my seat. More anticipation or more.
You didn't know what was going to happen. We're ultimately in Avengers.
That was the thing. I did not know what was going to happen. I know who's going to die. I didn't know where we're going next. We're Avengers. This is the end game. We know Thanos is going to die. We know that they're going to win somehow, some way. But where Game of Thrones was still question marks everywhere. So that was a lot more enjoyable for me, which I always go to in other movies. Like you always say, I judge harshly on if I can expect what's happening in the movie, or if I can't.
Yep.
And this just goes to prove that is the case, and it does factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I had thought about this and was not sure what I was going to pick because they're both great. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I am going to go with Avengers Endgame. I really thought about it.
Really?
Yeah.
After Game of Thrones, you picked A Long Night.
I know, I did. And I really thought about it because I was so caught up in the moment. And after I've had time to think about it, it's like, you know what? It's okay. Because I did think about like the surprise factor and like anticipation and what that meant. And I'm okay with knowing, I don't know exactly how Avengers Endgame was going to end, but you know, ultimately, this is a superhero movie. The bad guy won the last one. The good guy's going to win this one. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But it meant so much more for me and in what I've put in, like, really for...
It's like your life.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like all of the great moments, and I really want to watch it again. And ultimately, it was close. It was close, but I'm going to go with Avengers just because I'm okay with its faults, because I think The Long Night had faults too, as we discussed for both of these. They're not perfect, but they're both good. But I'm going to go with Avengers ultimately.
I get that.
Yep. It is close. It's close. It's like they're both great. They're both great, no question. All right, Ollie, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitter.com/Ali Aintrazi, twitch.tv/Ali Aintrazi. Videos come out every Wednesday and Friday for Cool Stuff Inc.com or YouTube, Cool Stuff Inc. You can also find my stream highlights over at Think Twice or youtube.com/thinktwicempg. And yeah, that's about it.
You can find me on Twitter at jparnell1, and of course you can find me on StarCityGames.com and YouTube as the host of the Commander Versus series. You can also find my stream Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/jparnell. I've moved it to Mondays. It was previously Tuesdays. We moved it back to Mondays. So Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to contact the show, Think Twice MTG on Twitter and thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. And if you want to find the show on any audio platform, search Think Twice MTG on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spotify, Podbean, and of course YouTube, or go to youtube.com/thinktwicemtg. You can get the podcast there. You can see stream highlights from myself, stream highlights from Ali. A lot of great stuff, especially the early access event, which I've uploaded a bunch of stuff from. So if you want to check that out, you can do so there. If you want to support the show further, go to patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. We have a number of rewards tiers where you can get sweet stuff, support this show and us, and of course get invited to our exclusive Think Twice family Discord channel, which again we have a new patron for, John T. Welcome to the Think Twice family. And Ollie, we have two. Well, I have mine, animal picture of the week. So if you're still deciding on yours, I'll go ahead and go into mine, and that is Stanley, which is the little light colored lab. Shout out to Owen, who is Severo's son for scale, 7-year-old for scale, which I think is really important next to a 90-pound lab. So obviously Owen is smaller than the lab, but notable. So shout out to Owen and Stanley for an adorable picture.
Owen?
Owen is the name of the child. Stanley is the name of the Labrador.
All right, I'm going with Odin. He's the big fluffy corgi from Synthesize. He looks like he's eating some sort of festival fair item food thing.
Festival fair item food. No, that's good. That's good.
It's not chicken on a stick. It looks like
a bread
thing. A sweet bread thing. Yeah, he looks like, yeah, give me that.
It looks tasty.
Looks adorable. Yep, looks adorable. Odin, the god of corgi butts. One
as is commonly known.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, congrats, Stanley and Odin. You have the pictures of the week. We want to give a thank you to our director and producer, John Choi, and our community manager, William Johnson. Thank you guys very much. And of course, our Agent of Bolus producers, Daniel Hunt, Matt Lindell, Brandon Sperry. Thank you guys for being the truest of the true MVPs. Is that correct?
For sure. The true MVP.
The true.
Seriously, everyone. Yep, everyone. Thank you very much. Also, make sure you read. We're covering Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, and the war novel Act 1, separated in 3 acts. Make sure you read Act 1. If you don't care, then just we'll explain lore. We'll explain lore to you. If you're not gonna read it, just make sure you tune in, because
we got you, Matt. We got you, buddy.
Yeah, we got you.
Don't worry.
We got you. But yeah, that's it, Justin. As always, thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Everybody else, have a good weekend. See you next time.